When we find related rates, we're going to use implicit differentiation. One thing that we will note that's different is in related rate equations, you may have two or more variables that are changing over time. In implicit differentiation, we always took the y variable to have an underlying x variable that changed. With related rates, um, and this is the example starting here. When water's drained out of a conical tank, and I'll scroll here in a minute so you can see the figure, the volume, radius, and height of the water level are all functions of time. As the water drains out, all these values are changing. Volume of a cone can be calculated, and if you remember your geometry, volume is 1/3 pi times r squared times h. Well, if water is leaving a conical tank, your volume will decrease, the radius will also decrease, and so will the height. Those change over time. All three variables can be differentiated with respect to time. I'm going to scroll just a little bit. Here at the top of your screen, when you take the rate of change in volume, that's the derivative of volume. This lower part dt means that it changes with respect to time. There we go. Sorry, y'all. So let's now look. Pi over 3, remember that is a constant. That part gets factored out actually. So for the r squared h part of it, we're going to use product rule. The derivative of r squared is 2r. dr dt means that the radius also changes over time, times height. So that's derivative of the first times the second. Plus, now when we take the first, that's r squared. The derivative of h is 1. Since height changes over time, that's dh dt. So be very careful to note in this example that the pi over 3 was factored out because it's a constant, but the r squared h had product rule, noting that each of those two variables also change over time as well as overall volume. Diagram of what went on is this. This equation that we just looked at showed that the rate of change in volume is related to the rates of change in both height and radius. So you take a cone or a conical tank, it's full of water at this point. It still has a radius, and there's also a height. Volume's the amount of water inside. As this drains out, notice that the volume of the water decreases. The radius of the water in the tank also changes, and the height of the water still left in the tank does too. Let's look at some concrete examples in this particular video. I'm going to try not to show too much on your screen at once. I don't want it to be a distractor. Assume that x and y are both differentiable functions of t. Find the required values of dy dt and dx dt. In this equation, we have a circle centered at the origin with a radius of 15. Now that's a fixed object, but if you start stretching that circle horizontally, that's the direction of x, or vertically, that's your direction of y, each direction has a rate of change. Taking the derivative of x squared is 2x. Since the x direction can change over time, we have dx dt. Y squared has a derivative of 2y, and the y direction can also change over time. Derivative of 225, that's a constant, so its derivative is 0. And sort of to give you the analogy I gave in class, if you were to lay a rubber band on your table or desk and you pull it tight sideways, the top and the bottom will close in on each other. Or if you stretch the rubber band vertically, the rubber band will close in on itself from the X direction. Again, this example and the next one are just purely mechanical. It's to get you used to taking derivatives of related rates. So let's get to it. We've already taken the derivative of the circle, and this is our derivative formula. Again, both variables change over time. They're both functions of t. First, we're going to find dy dt if x is 9, y is 12, and x is changing at a rate of 9. Everywhere you have x, y, dx dt, dy dt in this derivative formula at the top right, slowly and carefully replace your x with 9. Your dx dt is also 9, be very careful, plus 2y, that's 2 times 12. Dy dt is the only thing we don't know, but that's what we were asked to find. Making your calculations, we have 162 plus 24 dy dt. Subtract 162, it'll go negative. Divide by 24, and that reduces to negative 27 over 4. In the next part of this, we're going to solve for dx dt, and we'll be given values of x, y, and dy dt. Here we go. There we go. That way you can still see the derivative here in the top right of your screen. Carefully plug 12 in for x, 9 for y, negative 3 for dy dt. Now this would be a case of the y direction closing in on itself because it's negative. Here, that's an example of x direction going farther apart or moving in the x direction. 2 times 12, that's 24, dx dt. The product of these three numbers is negative 54. Bring the 54 over, it'll go positive. Divide by 24. 54 over 24 reduces to 9/4. In this example, this is a fresh example we did together. A point is moving along the graph of the given function at the rate dx dt. Find dy dt in centimeters per second for the indicated values of x. So our function that we're given is parabolic, y equals 4x squared plus 7. Y equals 4x squared plus 7. This won't be a superb drawing, but I'm going to at least try to sketch this out for you. Okay, so 4x squared plus 7, we have a parabola that's steep, opens upward, and then we also have certain points that we're asked to discover. This first blue dot where x is negative 1, if you plug negative 1 into your function, you get negative 1 squared times 4 plus 7, that's 11. So negative 1 and 11. The other x value is 0. We'll discover that once I scroll a little bit. No, it's over here in part B. If you plug 0 into your function, 4 times 0 squared plus 7, that gives you 7. Okay. Now, the x direction is 2 centimeters per second, and that is your points along the graph moving in the x direction at 2 centimeters per second. Okay, so what we need to do now is actually just take the derivative of this thing. Here's our equation, y equals 4x squared plus 7. Derivative of y is 1 dy dt. The derivative of 4x squared is 8x dx dt. And the derivative of 7 is 0. Notice, as these points move in the x direction, they also move in a y direction, and that's why we're finding dy dt. For part A, when x is -1, we're at this blue dot. Notice as x is moving right, our y values are moving down. Take our derivative dy dt, and we're going to plug in, that's 8 times our x value times our dx dt. This equals -16 centimeters per second. At this precise point on the graph, if x is moving to the right at 2 centimeters per second, your y value, see how steep that can be, is falling or decreasing at 16 centimeters per second. The other part for part B, where x is 0, this is at the bottom of the graph where we also expect a horizontal tangent line. Let's look at our derivative when x is 0. dy dt equals 8 times 0 times 2. Remember, dx dt is 2. That comes out to 0. And all that says is when you get to the bottom of this curve, no matter how fast your point's moving horizontally, it's not moving up or down, meaning you're at a horizontal tangent line, aka the bottom of the valley. The final example we were able to get to in class, we're going to do some more. There'll be another video with some more related rates on it. The radius r of a circle is increasing at a rate of 5 centimeters per minute. Find the rate of change of the area in centimeters squared per minute when radius is 38 centimeters. Okay, so to kind of give you a visual, now it won't match up with the numbers in this problem, but suppose you throw a brick into a pond. Once the brick hits the water, you have a splash zone. The longer you go after the splash, the bigger that splash zone gets. So the area is changing. The radius of your splash zone is also changing. This problem asks us to find the change of area when this is our splash rate, that's the radius increase, exactly when the radius is 38 centimeters. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. Pi, remember, is a constant. We're not going to worry about that in our derivative. Derivative of area is 1 dA dt, because area changes over time depending on the splash zone and its size. R squared has a derivative of 2r. The radius changes over time, so that's dr dt. From our problem, we substitute 38 in for r, and we also substitute 5 in for dr dt. This gives us a product of 380 pi. This is your exact area in centimeters squared per minute. That's the change of the area at this exact snapshot. If you're asked to approximate, that's fine too. You'll just simply type 380 pi into your calculator. You guys told me in class this was the calculator approximation. And that's the change in area when the radius is exactly 38 centimeters. So whether you're asked to give exact or approximate, just pay attention to the problem in your homework.